Hi, my name is Talia. Welcome to Talia Nerds Out. So, of course, because I have books that I need to read and older videos that I need to edit and post, and other videos that I'd like to record, I'm going to instead record a throwaway video that no one asked for, but I, 5 seconds ago, decided I wanted to make. So, I'm just going to do a quick little tour of my reading area. Shouldn't take very long at all because, like I said, this is a throwaway video. But because I feel like it's an idea in my head, I am apparently going to record this. So first off, as I promised, a little overview of my reading area. I tend to read at my desk. Actually, I almost 100% of the time read at my desk. Just going to pan up. This is well, first I'm going to pan closer here. This is the light that I use when I'm feeling, at my best and I can have more light. But more often than not, I either am using, that light there, or the black book lamp light, because that book light is my friend. Not the white one, the black one. I mean, the white one's not bad. It's a green light. But the black one has 3 settings. It has, your typical kind of like very amber light, almost orangey, then it has like this like in between, gentle lighting of like still again a yellowish kind of color, and then it has the pure like clear kind of light. I tend to use the other 2 that are a little more gentle on my eyes, and sometimes that's the only light I have in the room. Then generally I will have some tea going. There is my colored pens right there. Black pens in my Austin mug. Behind that, I keep my embossing stickers with some pre-embossed stickers that I just decided to get that taken care of. Let's see what else. Oh, when I have highlighters I want for books that I'm reading, I go ahead and put a highlighter and a pen with the book's title in a Ziploc bag, and then the ones I'm currently most actively reading go in this bag. Let me back it up a little bit. We had, for a while we were doing a knit along called Tortoise versus Hare. You can see how long I've actually owned that cowboy hat, because I designed those tortoises. Gosh, when did I design them? Well, it was quite a while. It had to have been at least 2017 when I designed Timmy. So, I used to do a lot of outside shots because I was still feeling like I could go outside more. I hadn't gotten sick yet. And so one of my fun things to do when I was writing these patterns, that's my Oops, the bunny pattern, was I would take these like quirky little outdoor shots. Anyway, I've got bags made with them for the Tortoise versus Hare knit along we used to do, knit along, crochet along. But that's where I'm keeping all my pens for books I'm most actively reading. Other ones that I kind of sort of have on the go in this bag that someone gave me, which is originally a knitting bag, but is being used for other things. I generally, unless I'm doing a lot of highlighting and writing in the book, generally I'll read using my book, what do you call that? A book stand. And I've used one since I started reading history. Gosh, again, that probably was around 2017, maybe a little bit later than that. I guess it could have been a bit earlier. Actually, I think the turtles and the tortoises and hares might have been more closer to 2015, now I think about it. But it was so I can knit and write at the same time. Speaking of knitting, doing a long afterthoughts sock so that way I can use up the full skein of self-striping yarn and then add the heel for one sock in after the fact, and the toe, the heel and the toe for one sock after the fact, and then the cuff and the heel for the other sock after the fact. So, because it's nice, and I can just knit till the yarns run out. Anyway, so then there's that, stickers that I got sent to me with different like bookmark orders and stuff. Then continue to scan over. I have with my Sharpies, a nice little cup that has one more chapter. Then I have one of my book stamps when I don't feel like actually inking a normal stamp. My library card stamp. Random stitch markers for the crochet donuts I'm presumably still crocheting. I keep my embosser over here. The books that I am actively reading, or no, these aren't necessarily the books I'm actively reading, other than like this one here. That's my one that I'll pull out every once in a while. These are ones that either I'm reading like once a week, like the Austen, there, because we're reading Mansfield Park together, my mom and I, and then we're doing Rome Sweet Home. But the rest of these are like, okay, these are kind of things I need to get back to reading, or I want to have like easy access to. Let's see, some meditation books, and then in that, in the faux Batman and Robin book, it's actually where I keep my bookmarks, my magnetic bookmarks. So I think that came from Hobby Lobby. What else? Oh yeah, my reference area. Haven't really had made much use out of the Oxford Dictionary of World Histories yet, although I hope to. Thought I'd get more use out of the Dictionary of Medieval Terms, and the Concise Dictionary of Middle English. I'm hoping as time goes on I'll make more use of that. This one is worth its weight in gold. I'm glad I picked it up when Michelle P. Brown mentioned it in her Lindisfarne Gospels book. This is a really excellent book, The Tolkien Companion. This one actually is very helpful as well. I'm constantly using my dictionaries. And if it's not in one of these two, usually I'll check this one for writers and editors. And usually it'll be, what I need is usually in one of these books. Don't use the thesaurus terribly often, but I do like having it. My biographical dictionary. Let's see. Oh, my Knit Speak for my knitting reference stuff. And then, of course, my Christie's Checkerbeat checklist that I'm always showing off, and, you know, probably overpraising to some people's thought process because I love that thing. What else? Just books in general, and way too many books up there that'll probably kill me one day if we get like an earthquake or something, when all of them fall on my head. But I don't have the space to just not balancing. So they're pretty stable up there. My Agatha Christie's are up here. I have my snail donut that I finished. Some of my Russian style icons, my annotated Agatha Christie's. Oh, that's my book journal there that I need to go back to working on. More Russian style icons. Other books. So quite a few of these are ones that I haven't gotten around to reading yet. Let's see. Backing up. Over here is my real reading area, like for things that I am actively-ish reading. So like here tends to be the ones that, okay, these are the ones that I cycle through. Sometimes they'll cross over here if I don't have enough space, or if I'm like semi-actively reading them, but not really, they'll go here. Then the one up next will be either here or here in this back area, and then this will be the way like in the future up next. What else? Then here is my fairy tale area with my two plushy dreadfuls. This is Potsy, who's for dysautonomia / postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And then this one is migraine. with Krang on his head. Well, we call him Krang because he looks like Krang. But we call the migraine himself doesn't actually have a name. But the migraine hat thing is Krang. Get back on there. Ah! Stay. Yeah, I think that is about it for my showing this reading area. This is very much where I spend a lot of my time. I do keep, if I was to show you down here, let's see, move this. This is my checklist, daily checklist. But in here I have my tabbies, and this has my extra pens. This has my, this is more my checklist in this folder. And then here has my Dewey Decimal System that I go and I look up when I write my library cards. In this bag here are my library cards and my, book stamps. Everything I basically need when I'm starting a book. Either to stamp the book. I have my library card pockets in there. Hold on. I didn't plan for this. Oh, this is heavy. Don't fall. There we go. So, ink. This is normally where my library card stamp goes. This has here my book stamps, and then underneath here I usually have my this is my star rating stamps. And what else do I have in there? Oh, some of this is like letter writing stamps and things like that, so related stamps. Most of these are kind of book related here. This is my go-to bag that has, if I was to take only one bag with me and I was reading, it would be this one. Here's all my inks in it. There's my normal index cards for writing the library cards, like the library catalog cards. Here's my actual library cards. Looks like I'm going to need more library pockets pretty soon. This is when I'm actually not being lazy and I want to stamp, is this an audio book, a physical book, a Kindle book, if I want to put that on my library cards. And then I have a little hole punch for my catalog cards just to make it look more legit. I tend to keep glue in here for gluing things into my journal. And then I have other bags that are very similar to this one that have other various different journal stuff. But this is probably my most important bag that I use the most anytime I start a book. And which is why it's the easiest one for me to access by the desk. Let's see, what else? Put Baron and Lithium back. I don't know where I dropped. Somewhere Star Trek landed. Oh, there it is. But the last thing is the reason I have these. So these are actually meant to be like armrests for people when they're typing. I use them because I have chronic fatigue and I tend to crash randomly. And I can't tell you how many times I have banged my head on this desk where I would actually, if you ever notice me with scarring around the bridge of where my glasses and the bridge of my nose will meet, I'll sometimes get scarring from where the glasses will slam against my face from when I crash randomly. I started adding these so that at the very least I am not going to break my glasses, which are kind of expensive because I do migraine glasses with this prescription to them. So it adds a little bit of a buffer between me and the desk, and it doesn't slide because it has that skidding on it. It took me a while to figure out exactly what I wanted to do to protect myself on the desk. And then I have the rest of the desk covered with, different either mouse pads or, different, plasticky cup coaster kind of things that won't move. So that way I can also either put, a a wet spoon on there for my tea, or if I do smack my head off of this, it'll hit this instead. So yes, all the lovely things that you didn't realize you have to think about when you have unpredictable chronic illness. Although I will be getting a sleep study sometime in the near future, just to make sure that it is not like narcolepsy and some on top of like my other chronic issues. If it's just my normal chronic fatigue, whatever, but at least I'll have ruled out narcolepsy. But anyway, yes. So if you ever see this in any of my Instagram pictures, I'm using it a lot of times as a backdrop to prevent the shine from overhead with my lights, but it's also there for the other purpose of, you know, making so I don't, you know, scar my face any more than I have to. Alrighty, so that is that. So I hope you enjoyed that random little tour. I just realized that besides seeing the bookshelves over here behind me, you're also seeing my yarn caddy that used to, it was supposed to be like, at one point it had a, it was like a Christmas calendar thing for tea, and each pocket had like tea stuff in it. And now it holds like different sock yarns in there. So that's one of my many sock yarn caddies. But the other thing off to the side is other bookshelves. But anyway, that is my reading area. It's very crowded in here because I do have a fairly small room, but it's a nice little cozy area. But it does mean that sometimes people can't hear me in here. I can't hear other people in here because it's so crowded with books. Like wherever I can line books, I do line books. So it kind of creates this like extra sound barrier, I guess. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me for this little random tour of my reading area. And hey, if you want to show off your reading area and you are either currently a booktuber or you are not a booktuber, but you just decided you wanted to show off your reading area, make a video and tag me in it. Why not? It could be fun. Thank you very much, and you have a wonderful day. God bless. Bye.